All right, Coach, just what does it mean just to make the top 25? I know you're trying to keep the players away from thinking about that, but what does it mean just to you as a coach of this program and just what it means?
You know, honestly, it's pretty neat. You know, I've been a college basketball fan my whole life, so it's pretty cool that we broke through. But to me, it's more exciting for our kids than anybody, and for our alumni and for our fans. As we told the guys yesterday, it's something that can never be taken away from them. They'll always be able to say for the rest of their lives, you know, that they played on a top 25 team, which is neat. It wasn't a goal that we set out to accomplish at the beginning of the season. It's still not. You know, it's just a bonus for us as we continue to strive for our real goals.
Coach, for the sake of, I guess, clearing things up for us, what we've been called idiot media schmoes, what do you guys look at as...
Not from me, obviously.
No, just us. We're all the schmoes. As the RPI, what do you guys as coaches use as Bible?
I subscribe to real-time RPI. I'm not sure what the committee uses. And again, we're trying not to focus so much on the RPI anyway. So I'm sure it varies from year to year and from committee to committee. Maybe I'm wrong.
But when we make reference to it, and I know News Star and Tim and all of us and you guys too, you know, we got the NCAA.org or some other sites. So, I mean, what's the best one that we can feel comfortable using?
The one that has
saying where you are.
The one that has us as the highest. That's the one that we have to go by.
Well played. In terms of this game, now that you guys are ranked, is there anything you're telling your guys, just like you said, just to keep a level head and say we still have to play this next game? What are you telling your guys going to this game on Thursday?
It's really been the identical message. We're a pretty boring group in the locker room for a couple months. It's been get better today, the next game. And for us, if we're preoccupied about staying in the top 25 or continuing a winning streak, we're doing ourselves a disservice as it relates to preparing for the perennial power of our league in Utah State. That's Utah State coming in Thursday is big enough for me, and it should be for our guys.
You know, you were part of a program at Ole Miss, it wasn't that long ago, that was a top 25 program. So can you kind of relate to what the kids probably are feeling, though, that this is kind of like that stamp of approval maybe from around the country that this is a legit basketball program that people are recognizing?
You know, I think our kids are proud. I can relate. I've been there when we broke through, and you just feel like a lot of the hard work that you put in is, you know, has come to fruition for you. And our kids, you know, they deserve a pat on the back. But we let them enjoy it yesterday, and it's time to move on. Really, we want to continue to be in a position to hopefully have a chance at a conference championship and win 3 in 3 days. And at the end of the day, regardless of what we're ranked, those will still be our goals.
Coach, talk about this Utah State team that's coming in. They're playing a whole lot better. And Medlin may be back. What kind of issues does Medlin possibly present if he is back?
He's one of the best players in our league. He's a tremendous shooter, competitor, good defender. He's terrific in their system, which is terrific in itself. Outside of Preston Medlin, they may have the best 1-2 punch in the league in Jared Shaw and Spencer Butterfield. Spencer Butterfield is one of the best shooters in our league, the best rebounding guard in our league, ultra competitive kid. And Jared Shaw has really come into his own since they've had the couple injuries that they've had. Jared Shaw's playing as well as any big guy in our league, and he's probably up for Conference Player of the Year.
What kind of issues do they present for you guys as a matchup Thursday night?
You know, first of all, we have to keep them off the boards, have to do a better job than we did in Logan. They had 19 offensive rebounds. They're big, strong, physical. They play with a lot of pride. You know, they play very, very hard. So we're undersized as it is, and we have to do a better job of defending our glass. Our biggest offensive concern is scoring against their zone. We really struggled in the second half. They had some really good zone defensive possessions where I want to say we scored 16 in the second half in Logan and just barely held on. So we'll have to do a better job attacking their zone for sure.
You mentioned that. That's been the boogaboo here, you know, is just that shooting percentage.
Yeah.
Is this one of those games where if you see your team kind of get on a little bit of a roll, are you going to kind of let them just keep on rolling with that? I mean, do you feel like this may be a game where you manage it differently because of that?
Oh, just depends on whether they're going in or not. You know, we're going to get some decent looks because that's what they force you to do. They're really, really sound defensively. On the interior, they're good at containing penetration, and they make you beat them with jump shots, as does Idaho. If we get into a great shooting rhythm, yeah, you won't see me stopping us. First of all, I'll be shocked. But hopefully, at that point, we can just keep it going. If we can make jump shots, it'll give ourselves a pretty good chance, at least offensively, against them.
Are the slow starts still a concern to you? I mean, is it something you guys are still working on? I know, like you said, you're still going to be a streaky shooting team, but is that something before a game you're still telling the guys, hey, we got to come out strong?
Yeah, I think it'll always be a concern, and it's a concern for every coach. But we had some fast starts, too, so that's definitely not one of our biggest concerns today.
Mike,
You
with all-
find out, well, good.
I was just to say, with all due respect to Baptist a couple of weeks ago, has the 12 days done you well?
I hope so. We'll find out, in the first 20 minutes, I think, Thursday night. I think we're a little bit more healed up. I think our kids have a little bit more pep in their step right now. We've given them a couple days off. Last Thursday, gave them a day off Sunday. Yesterday, we went no contact. So I think they're itching to compete a little bit today. But we'll hold them back today and tomorrow in terms of the time that we'll spend on the court. And hopefully they'll be chomping at the bit Thursday come 7 o'clock.
How do you think this team has evolved from the first game of the season until now?
Become more of a cohesive group, we're as unselfish as they get. We have a team that doesn't care who scores, as we talked about. They've sold out to defending and being the best defensive team that they can be. And I just think that took probably about a month or so, but I think for the last couple months we've seen really a close to complete team defensively, where we've won games with our turnover margin, with our three-point field goal percentage defense, with getting late stops, whether it be zone, whether it be man, whether it be our press. And I think we've taken baby steps offensively. We need to continue to do so.
You talked about your team getting more healthy. What about JL Lewis' status for Thursday?
JL's got a bruise either on his toe or his foot. I can't figure it out. He can't figure it out. He's just got a little bit of swelling down there, but he should be ready to go. Keon McNeil's dealing with a foot injury. Brandon Gibson's been playing with a torn meniscus all season. But I think that they feel better than they did a few days ago, and hopefully we can keep them somewhat fresh by Thursday.
You look at your schedule, I know it's a one game at a time approach, but your final 4 games that's a pretty good little quartet of games there for you guys. Do you like the way this has played out, that these 4 are your remaining 4 as far as testing your team?
I'll tell you, after we win or lose them, the finish to our schedule is obviously very difficult, but again, the one we're concerned about is Utah State. If we beat Utah State at home, then we put ourselves in a pretty good position to move forward, and then we'll worry about the next one.
It kind of ties in with the RPI thing from earlier, because a lot of these schools you played had some nice bracket buster wins. I mean, do you kind of start, as a coach or your staff, you all start kind of accumulating that kind of information, knowing that this is not going to be one of these deals where if you win these next 4 games, there's no way your RPI is going to be dropping like it did a few weeks ago?
Honestly, I hate to be boring. I hate to give you the cliche answer, but if we don't beat Utah State at home and protect our home floor, it will decrease the chances to achieve any of our goals, really. So that's all we're worried about. We know Thursday is going to be a huge test. It's going to be a battle. 2 good teams leaving it all out on the floor. And, that's what we're most concerned with. If we play well, we get better, we win, hopefully we can continue the momentum, and then everything else will take care of itself.
You talked about Kevin Medlin and what he can do with some of those other guys. I guess, first of all, is Utah State healthier than when y'all played them the first time, and are they playing better? They kind of hit that rough patch with the injury.
Preston going out was a ton of adversity for him. Kaishan Reed's another starter that went out for him, and then Danny Berger had a really tough situation. Thank God he's healthy and with us. I don't think they're any more healthy unless Preston comes back. We'll find that out Thursday night. I don't know the time frame, honestly. We have our hands full with the players that we played against in Logan. I don't think, that they went through a tough patch. They're playing really well, and they really adjusted very, very quickly. It's incredible how well they're playing considering the adversity that they've had to overcome. They've just lost 2 or 3 really close ones that you know, we could easily be in the same boat, as could New Mexico State and Denver, and it just seems like teams in college basketball throughout the country that are in a position to have success late can look back and realize that they've won a few close ones as we have.
How much is your bench still just a pivotal part of your team offensively in terms of execution and winning games?
Well, it's huge. We rely on our bench for sure. We know that we're offensively challenged at times, hopefully getting better. But to have 5 or 6 guys come in the game off the bench and 2 or 3 of them having a chance to produce for you just gives us more of a chance to score enough, you know, to help with our defense and hopefully get us over the hump to get a W.
Mike,
Given the WAC success in those bracket buster games, does that show really that the WAC is better than most had given it credit for during the season?
I think the WAC's a really good league. The success we had in bracket busters doesn't surprise me at all. In fact, we could have had more success. We're 13th, depending on which RPI you look at, out of, 33 conferences, 34 with the independents, something like that. So really competitive league, and when you consider the travel within our league, to me it makes it even more competitive. It makes it even a tougher schedule for WAC teams to have to play.
If someone had never seen you play, a fan just off the street, and came to the Tech basketball game on Thursday or Saturday, when they leave, what do you want them to be able to say about your basketball team?
Well, I'm pretty certain that they'd say, man, those kids play hard. You know, that's our staple. Our kids leave it on the floor, you know, led by our backcourt, Speedy Smith and Raheem Appleby and Keon McNeil, Alex Hamilton, a couple of our veteran wings, Cordarius Johnson and Jaron Johnson, Brandon Gibson. Those kids just, they play really, really hard. And I think that you'd be able to recognize that we take pride in defending. I think they'll be able to see that we rely on pressure to have success defensively, and that we're still a work in progress in the offensive end. And if we continue to make improvements in that area, we'll be a pretty good team.
And
Can
is
you
there
talk
anyone
about-
in particular?
Go ahead.
Is there anyone in particular you're kind of looking at in this game, especially with what you're talking about with Utah State and how they play defense and what you're going to need from your guys? Is there a couple of fellows on your squad that you're saying, okay, guys, this is your time. This is a time for you to really kind of elevate not only yourself but also this program?
Our front line needs to be really productive, especially on the glass. They need to play with a ton of physicality and emotion and throw their bodies around and really help us in the paint, protect really both paints. Mike Kaiser and J.L. Lewis and Isaiah Massey, heck, Gibby Talbot may get opportunity. You just don't know depending on the flow of the game. But our front court's got to be productive, especially on the glass. And our back court's got to help them as well. You know, they got to, we call it rebounding down. Or if our bigs at least prevent some of their bigs from getting rebounds, at least it gives our guards an opportunity to run in there. Guys like Speedy and Raheem and clean up the glass a little bit.